But we came to believe that the epicenter of resistance to Kennedy was in a city called Dallas, Texas, and it was particularly driven by a handful of, I call them protagonists, but a handful of very powerful people. Those who want to objectify them a little bit call them plutocrats or citizen kings. They happen to be the important people in the city, however you want to describe them. They happen to have more money and more authority, a greater access to the pulpits, the leading preachers, the wealthiest man in the world is one of our characters, H.L. Hunt. And we began seeing that at first informally, there was this resistance to Kennedy that again really seemed to be centered in Dallas. And that over time, especially building toward November in '63, these forces began to merge and coalesce and brew and create really this toxic, again, environment.
And let me add too that, you had really the leading citizens in Dallas who were consider themselves leading the Kennedy resistance in America. You had the newspaper publisher Ted Dealey, who confronted JFK inside the White House and told him, many of us in Texas and the Southwest are looking for a man on horseback to lead this country. And too many of us back home think that you're riding Caroline's tricycle. And you had all of these men who were reinforcing each other. Really, you had H.L. Hunt printing up 200,000 copies of an anti-Catholic sermon by the leading minister in town and distributing that across the country in a desperate attempt to defeat Kennedy. And what we really saw as we were doing this book is, these are men who have sort of attained mythic status in Texas, but no one had really explored who they were and how they worked together, and that's what we started to do. And we saw that they were actually attracting more extreme people to Dallas by creating this center of anti-Kennedy resentment. And so that's how you got people like General Edwin Walker, who was cashiered from the Army by Kennedy because he had been indoctrinating his troops with John Birch Society literature. So Kennedy relieved him of command. Walker became a national hero, really, to the far right, and was on the cover of Newsweek and seen really as the man on horseback that a lot of people were looking for. And so he moved to Dallas to establish his political headquarters there. It fell right in with this group of people. And then you saw as this climate kind of grew more frenzied and more violent, and there was a lot of violent rhetoric aimed at Kennedy and other people of his political stripe. And that's when you saw people like Lee Harvey Oswald attracted to the city too.